All right, welcome back to another episode of Beer, Bacon, and Bros. We are going to touch a hot button topic, the Baseball Hall of Fame voting. Congratulations to David Ortiz.
Big Poppy.
Wearing his jersey over here. I mean, personally for me, and y'all can speak to this in your own opinions, I think David Ortiz was a first ballot Hall of Famer, and I'm cool with it.
I
agree.
One of the best DHs that's been around.
Yeah, well, at least top 3 DHs of all time.
He was a first baseman too, prior to that.
He played first base, but
in the American League with the DH, that was his role, and
he would play first base. He played first base in interleague games.
Yeah.
Just to get him on the field.
Yeah.
Sometimes when they had who was the first baseman they got from the Padres that one year? Was it Adrian Gonzalez?
Adrian Gonzalez played first. Yeah, Well, he played. They put him out in the left field. They put him in third.
I know they put Adrian Gonzalez out in right field that one time in Philly, and they hit it over him. And anyways, not long story short.
Anyway,
but yes,
so let's talk.
For his role as a DH though, he may go down as the greatest DH of all time.
Now we unfortunately have to talk about at least 3 guys that didn't make it on their final year ballot. They were close.
I think there's four.
There is 4. I mean, it wasn't even really close for Sammy Sosa. He only got 18%.
Yeah.
So,
but
I mean, I'll give it to you. Sammy Sosa, Kurt Schilling, Roger Clemens, and Barry Bonds. All 4 didn't make it all.
Your top 2 that everybody growing up young and watching baseball, everybody enjoyed seeing Barry Bonds play, and everybody knew Roger Clemens was good. Boy was good, no doubt about it. Also, no doubt about it, steroid use.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, Barry Bonds went from this to this,
but
then when he got off of it, he couldn't leg out a single.
I was reading something about it the other day about this Barry Bonds because all the articles about how he's going to get snubbed off, and there's actually a lot more Barry Bonds sympathizers out there than I realized.
Yeah.
And they were showing about how when he got drafted at Pittsburgh, he was like 6'2", I think, maybe like 190, 180, somewhere around there. But when he retired, he was up into like the 230s, 240s, and like doctors have talked about how like even if you are having like a professional chef and a legit workout regimen, like jumping up the 20%, 30% body weight that he did in like 8 seasons does not make sense. Like,
and
he got popped hot once for steroids, but after you get popped the one time, everybody knows in professional sports that, especially during this time period, you learned how to pass the test or avoid the popping hot and stuff like that. So,
and I think the same thing with Roger Clemens. He probably used Sammy Sosa. Well, he called the court.
Sammy Sosa was using steroids too.
But yeah,
he was in the steroids crowd.
Him, McGuire, and Bonds all used steroids.
But you knew in that era of baseball, like you're pointing at a certain point, you figured out how to pass.
Yeah.
And so you could use it, and then you're like, 2 weeks out, I'm kind of rumor mill, I might get drug tested. I'm not going to do it.
It was also one of those things like at that time the MLB kind of realized like, hey, these are our money makers, our golden eggs. Like these are the guys we need to kind of protect. So like they would be like, oh, it's an anonymous steroid test you're going to have to take in 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay, like stuff like that. There's been reports about it where it was very much we're not going to give you a heads up, but yeah, we're going to give you a heads up.
And
they kind of protected
some of these
money makers.
But at the same time, if Barry Bonds was to get in, I then think
you put Bonds in, you have to put Pete Rose in.
Exactly.
You put Bonds in, you have to put Pete Rose in.
I think Pete Rose
should be in there regardless.
Pete Rose should be in there regardless. Yeah, because I think his violations of like player rules and stuff like that is so much more minuscule compared to juicing.
Well, I don't know whether had Bonds gotten in, would I have been super upset about it? And I'm certainly not super upset about him not making it. I don't feel bad for him.
No,
I think that's kind of the thing that I've seen on Twitter, I've seen on Facebook. Let him in. You've punished him enough for 9 years. Let him in. Blah blah blah. He did it to himself.
Right.
Like he did.
No one made him inject himself.
I'm gonna tell you right now. Sitting here as a 27-year-old, I sure as hell don't recognize him as the home run king. Hank Aaron's still the home run king.
Hank Aaron definitely.
You can put Barry Bonds all over everything when it comes to home runs and call him the king or whatever. I'm never gonna recognize him.
I won't recognize it.
Because
755.
He was caught cheating.
He was caught cheating. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, he was caught cheating, and so you really can't feel bad for him. And listen to me. Is there people that are in the Baseball Hall of Fame that have done sketchy stuff? Are there racists in there? Are there wife beaters in there? Absolutely. Was it a different time when they got voted in? Absolutely. Would those guys get in right now?
No.
Absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely not. And I mean, Pete Rose is not in for gambling. Racists wouldn't get in. Wife beaters wouldn't get in. Steroid users will not get in. Alex Rodriguez was on.
I was about to bring that up. And Alex Rodriguez, people are talking about him now.
He got 34% of the vote.
I don't think he'll get in either.
He's not going to get in. I mean, he's not going to get in. Manny Ramirez, not going to get in. You know, I mean, there are really some good names on here. Gary Sheffield, Andrew Jones.
Jimmy Rollins down there. That low surprises me.
I mean, look at some of these names that you and I would recognize down here. Some of the younger crowd that got
wow.
3%.
Joe Nathan.
Ryan Howard.
Tim Lincecum.
Three-time World Series champion Tim Lincecum will not make the Hall of Fame.
Tim Lincecum, who literally carried the Giants through one World Series.
Will not make Hall of Fame because he got less than 5%.
Old Pat.
Yeah. I mean, Prince Fielder's on here.
Yeah.
Prince Fielder got 2 votes.
Prince Fielder was another really good DH. Well, I don't know. He didn't technically DH.
He was technically first base, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So those guys are going to drop off completely?
Yeah.
So Huddy will never get in?
Hudson will never.
He doesn't need to get in anyways.
I was just going to say, out of the people that are around like the 40 to 50%, who do you think's going to get in?
I'd like to see, I think Andrew Jones.
I think Andrew Jones deserves to get in.
Andrew Jones gets in. Yeah.
Granted, that's still being, a homer. All of us being Braves fans and going up and watching him. But,
I think he was one of the best center fielders to play.
He was. Was it 12 Gold Gloves?
He's the only player in MLB history with 10 Gold Gloves and 400 homers, 300 homers.
He had
400.
Well, he's got over 5 in his career. I think he's over 5. Yeah, I think he's over 5.
He's had more than Chipper. Yeah. Chipper only had like 460 something.
Yeah, then maybe he's the only player in MLB history to have 10 Gold Gloves and 500 homers. So
you got to put somebody in the Hall of Fame like that. He's literally one of a kind.
Yeah, I agree.
So, but like other guys that are like, I think A-Rod was a great third baseman.
Steroids though.
He popped high.
He admitted to it too.
Yeah.
But still, I thought he was a great player. I liked him. I don't think he'll ever get in though. Same issue that you'll see him probably on the list in 10 years, and he'll sit at like, if you need 75, he'll sit at like 72.
I also think A-Rod's issue is his career was very much like the flame came on and almost was just as quickly snuffed out.
Well, yeah, when he left Seattle to go to Texas, and when he left Texas to go to New York. When he left to New York, I mean, it never panned out. Yes, he won his one championship in like 2009.
I think he got overshadowed though with David Jeter in New York.
Well, you had Jeter, you had Teixeira, you had Hideki Matsui, you had Andy Pettit, you had Jorge Posada. I mean, he wasn't the guy. No.
So, but and then like another guy I just don't know if he'll actually make it is Gary Sheffield. I like watching Gary Sheffield.
That would be outside of Andrew Jones, obviously, which I think, will eventually get in. I think it may end up being the 9th or 10th time, but he'll get in. I would love to see Gary Sheffield in. I think Gary Sheffield transcended baseball. He may not be the best stats, he may not have been the best defensive player, best hitter, best power hitter, whatever. But I think Gary Sheffield in that swing kind of transcended baseball, and
that's when
straight up. All of us,
the bat
wiggle,
doing the bat wiggle when we were kids. So
I did the Chipper Jones 2-step.
Nice.
This is the toe tap.
Nice. So,
but then the other thing you hate to see is like you're saying, Tim Lincecum not going to get in.
I have to look up. I'm not quite sure whether they just can't be on the ballot again, or they're just not automatically on the ballot the next year.
I got you. Go down to that list one more time. What was it? Mark Teixeira was on that list.
Down below, Teixeira was down there. Lincecum, Joe Nathan,
Ryan Howard.
Yeah, Ryan Howard was another.
He came up late. Like, I know Ryan Howard did. I mean, was it 25 maybe?
Yeah.
When he finally got to the MLB.
I mean, Justin Moreau.
Justin Moreau.
He was an MVP.
Yeah.
Justin Moreau.
Yeah.
Ryan Howard was
the first baseman for Philly.
Yeah.
The first baseman.
Carl Crawford, he's got 0 votes.
Yeah, well, sorry, Carl.
But
AJ Przinsky.
AJ Przinsky.
Yeah.
But I think like Ryan Howard, Tim Lincecum,
Jake Levy,
and even Papelbon. Like those are 3 guys I think should be in consideration. And Mark Teixeira. I like Mark Teixeira.
Do you know who hit their last home run off the Papelbon?
Oh, Chipper Jones.
Yep. I was at that game. The walk off.
Yeah.
It was a great.
Absolute bomb into right center.
Absolute bomb. It landed right in front of me.
Absolute bomb.
So-
So Austin called that too, by the way.
Yeah, I was there.
But those are a couple guys that are on, like you're saying. I don't know if they're automatically off the ballot or how that portion of the
It
ballot
says
works.
they're off. Well, we'd have to look at
It
it.
says players receiving less than 5%
Off future ballots.
Yeah.
So if that means they won't ever appear again, then I think those are four guys.
It's saying one and done. So they're done.
I think those are four guys that are gonna get snubbed. Or maybe they might not deserve. They might not have ever gotten 75%. Anyways.
Yeah, but Joe Nathan was a great closer.
But they deserve more respect than 3%.
Oh, one and done.
Yeah.
Joe
So
Nathan was a great closer.
All right. Any other final thoughts?
I was just gonna say the people that I would like to see in there would be Wagner and Scott Rowland.
Nice. Well, Scott Rowland's overrated. But anyway,
Scott Rowland was good.
I'm with you on the Billy. So, all right, let us know what you think, especially on the, should these steroid people have gotten in or not? Leave them in the comments.
Yeah, let us know also the steroids versus sticky substance. You got steroids helping the batters, sticky substance versus the pitchers. Are they the same? Is one worse than the other? What you think?
Yeah. And as always, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, beer_bacon_bros, and subscribe. And we appreciate the support.